The Volt is an all-time classic MVP mold. Has the numbers 8.5, -0.52. It is a fantastic overstable fairway driver. I've been bagging them on and off since I started playing disc golf back in 2020. I've had this Volt for about a year now in the Proton plastic. Absolutely love it. But I recently picked up a new run of Volts. This one's in the Neutron plastic, and they are different. Today we're going to talk all about why the Volt is an amazing disc, as well as what these new runs of Volt bring to the table, what differences they have, and which one you should pick up. So let's jump into this thing. Hole 1 here is a 320-foot par 3, tree line all to the left here. You want to take a hyzer out and around, kind of that bushy tree in the center there. We're going to start with my old reliable Proton Volt. The Volt tends to be a little bit more overstable of a mold than I think a lot of people think going into it. But that overstability makes it very consistent, great for a whole bunch of different weather conditions, great wind fighter. Put down a little bit of hyzer. That's a beauty. Got on the inside of that tree. That should check up pretty nicely. Should be inside circle 1. Now we have the Neutron Volt, and this is a pretty fresh run of Volt. And what really shocked me when I first picked up this disc is they are really domey. MVP discs historically have been pretty flat, and it's a pretty new phenomenon to see these domier MVP drivers. So I'm really excited to see how this Neutron domey Volt compares to my classic flatter Volt. Oh, that's beefy. That's pretty overstable. Now, granted, my Proton one is definitely more beat in, but that is a quite overstable run of Volt. We got the Proton Volt here, about 20 feet out from the basket. Neutron Volt was probably another 20 feet back. I've always called the Volt kind of the T-bird of the MVP world. And I love how it's an overstable disc, but it's that pushing overstability where it still has good glide, and you can still get good distance with the Volt because of it. There we go. And while I'm definitely someone who gravitates towards more understable discs in general, it is really valuable to have a more overstable disc that still has decent glide, where I can throw it really hard and know it's not going to turn over, and get good flex shots, which we'll need for this hole, 293-foot par 3. Probably going to have to flex it a little bit to the right, have it come back a little bit. Start with the Proton. A little bit higher than I wanted, but you see that flex comes right out. Oh, we got caught up in the trees. Let's go Domey Neutron next. Try to keep this one a little bit lower. Yeah, that fights out so fast. Great shot. Love it, but whoo, that's almost like Terra. That really reminds me of the MVP Terra, which has really come to fulfill their like really overstable 8-speed option. Landed just about pin high here, but we are behind some obstacles. We're going underhand, folks. I feel like it's a bit of a coin flip whether or not dome is going to add overstability to a mold or not. Really, it's the parting line that dictates the stability more than anything, and that can change from run to run. We'll go Proton here, 380-foot, hooks to the left. Definitely not going to reach it with the Volt, but we'll give it a shot. Little flex line again. Yeah, that Proton one is so nice. Like, it has so much pushing glide the whole flight. Absolutely love that disc. That is so nice. So it definitely depends on the mold whether or not the dome is going to add overstability or not. All right, let's go Neutron. See how far we can push this guy. That fights out so fast. I mean, that's a good shot. I like that, but dang, this thing is way more overstable than I expected it to be. Definitely need more of a hyzer flip to reach the basket. We're probably going to be somewhere inside circle 2. So again, we had Proton get up a little bit further, but it's more like in the woods. So our Neutron is actually in a better spot right now. There we go. And when I started playing disc golf back in 2020, I feel like the Volt was a really popular disc, definitely a frequently recommended disc for people looking for a straight flight, but also consistent fade. But I feel like in recent years, the Volt has kind of fallen out of favor, whereas discs like the MVP Tesla and Axiom Wrath have kind of taken the spot of what a lot of people were throwing for the Volt. 234-foot par 3, fades off to the left, sets up really well for Volt. Proton. Do that kind of low, a little too much hyzer. That's gonna be okay. It's probably gonna be edge of circle. Let's go Neutron. Try to keep this one a little bit flatter. That's gonna be good. I don't know if you can really see the basket on this hole. It's probably gonna get a nice little skip. We got park job with the Neutron. Proton, about circle's edge. Discs like the T-Bird and the Volt, being lower speed and slimmer rim width, generally going to have less lateral movement in the flight when compared to higher speed discs with wider rim widths. Lower speed plus overstability makes for a very consistent flyer. And if you're someone who's been watching the channel for a while, you've probably heard me talking about how my philosophy on disc golf is to limit the range of outcomes in my shots. So having some discs that have very little variation in the flight because they don't really have any understability is really valuable for achieving that low range of outcomes for your shot. 237-foot par 3, hooks off to the right. We're gonna go with the forehand. Kind of been avoiding the forehand because I'm nursing a wrist injury, but you know, when duty calls. That's a beauty. Yeah, oh, just missed that tree. That is an absolute beauty. That's gonna be definitely inside circle 1. We're gonna go neutron. I really like flatter discs for my forehand, so I'm not really sure how I'm gonna feel about this domier Volt on the forehand. That's nice though, but that overstability, I mean, you could see that Proton one definitely held straighter longer. That blue one, that neutron just wants to fade, holy cow. And that philosophy of low range of outcomes is part of why we see so many hyzers on the Pro Tour and why a lot of pros talk about how the hyzer is the most consistent shot in disc golf. Because by throwing a slightly overstable disc on the hyzer, you're basically eliminating some of the variation that's going to come with throwing more understable discs or with throwing a flat shot, which might be more prone to turning over. Hyzers make life easier. If a hyzer can be thrown, it's usually the optimal play. Not so much on this hole though. This is a 260-foot par 3. Probably going to have to hang this one out pretty straight to make this gap, then have it fade off to the right. Got the basket right next to OB. I think we're going to start with Proton. Another forehand, probably not what I need, but that's what the course calls for. So here we are. A little bit of hyzer. Oh, that's going to be a beauty. Absolute beauty. Dang. That was a good shot. I feel like that was maybe long. For a second there, kind of looked like it was tracking for the basket, but we were just a smidge long. Hopefully that means that neutron is going to take us home. Okay, threw that one, not great, but it worked out because that overstability. Yeah, I mean, that's my forehand. Half of them are good, half of them are bad. That's what you get. We actually went way deep OB with Proton, so we'll take neutron here, which is just a little bit outside circle. Nope, never had a chance. Yeah, that one had a chance at least. And also guys, thank you so much for 2,000 subscribers. We made it. That is such an awesome milestone, and I am so appreciative of all of you who are watching and liking and subscribing. You guys absolutely rock. Now we got a shorty, 206-foot par 3, hooks aggressively, just dog leg to the left after like 150 feet. Kind of a tricky hole because of how far left you have to get. Dodge all of these trees, plus get to the left enough. I think that we're gonna have a little bit of trouble with the Proton getting left enough, but we'll give it a go. Steep hyzer time. Yeah, that's about what I expected. Had to hug that inside tree wall so aggressively. I think that neutron, Domi neutron, I think is gonna be a little bit better suited for this hole. Yeah, now we just need a skip. We got the skip. All right, we're gonna be probably about edge of circle. That's solid. It's so hard to not go long on this hole. You need something with really low glide. Hey, there we go. I'm actually liking that these two have different flights because I'll actually be able to bag them both and throw them for different shots, which is pretty cool. 282-foot par 3. The typical route is out to the left. You want like a big turnover, but these Volts are not gonna turn over. So instead, we're gonna go sneaky route down the right here. It's kind of this little secret passage, like in Mario Kart when you do a little like, take a little shortcut, you know, maybe a little bit of risk involved with that shortcut. Well, we're gonna take on that risk. We're gonna lace this thing, I can feel it. Proton. Threw it way too low. Big old skip there. If that was high, that would have been absolutely beautiful. Would have been a great shot. Let's make the correction with neutron here. No, kind of just did the same thing, a little bit higher. That overstability you could see really kicked in early. That's fine, we're out in the open. we made the gap. So we got a chance here at the birdie with Neutron. And if you haven't seen my top 10 favorite MVP fairway driver video yet, the Volt did make the list. So if you want to go check out some more awesome MVP fairway drivers, go take a look at that video. Nope, no chance, absolutely no chance. Well, we didn't end the video with any heroics, but that's okay. Point of the video, Volt is an absolutely awesome disc. I love bagging this Proton one. I'm gonna start bagging this Neutron one and probably loving it as well. If you have any questions about the Volt or any other MVP fairway drivers or just discs or just any discs, if you got any questions about disc golf, let me know down in the comments. And as always, guys, I love you. Take care. I'll see you next time.